Hi everybody, another year has passed, which means of course it's time for another Call of Duty multiplayer beta, and this will be my Black Ops 6 first impressions, preview, review. Should you think about pre-ordering it or playing it? Is it going to be a good, solid Call of Duty? And I think the thing that always sort of hangs over this like Damocles' sword is crossplay for me, because I'm always thinking, no matter if I really like this Call of Duty and I think, yeah, this is good, I want to put hours and hours and hours into this every week, crossplay is always there, which means that there's always going to be PC players, which means there's always going to be cheaters, and it just winds me up. every year since they've introduced it, it's like, just give us the opportunity on Xbox. I think on PlayStation you can do it anyway. Give us an opportunity to turn it off. I'll play with PlayStation players and I'll play with Xbox players, but I don't want to play against PC players when I'm on my Xbox, because they can start off with having rigs that can do, 240 frames a second on a 40-inch monitor, 4K, and of course, I'm not saying all PC gamers cheat, but there is a proportion that do, and that kind of puts that doubt in the back of your mind. And the other thing, while I have this rant before we get started, is the slide towards Fortnite that we always get with every Call of Duty, or we've had with the last few ones anyway, where they start off fairly serious because they get the money from release, and then they start releasing all the silly skins like the chicken skins and the rabbit skins and all that sort of stuff. So it's like, ugh, you don't need to do this. Call of Duty can be really successful being a military sim, arcade, casual shooter. Just set it at in different time periods, and just don't go towards Fortnite. It doesn't need to. Anyway, let's get started. Graphics, they're a bit meh at the moment. Some of the maps look better than the others. The dirtier maps look good, I think. But Black Ops Call of Duty do tend to be a little bit cleaner than, say, the Modern Warfare ones that tend to have more rubble and rubbish around the levels. Maybe that's because they want better performance. And also, this is the beta, we're going to see a bit more polish by the time it comes to full release. There are silly skins already. If you pre-order, you can get this zombie skin you can run around, and there's people running around as crash test dummies, which is a bit silly. Big headline, movement, fast. You've now got the ability to sprint left and right and backwards and dive. Happy to say, doesn't make that much of a difference. As long as you know how to do it, so you know what other people are going to do. Doesn't mean you have to do it, but it is really satisfying when somebody tries to do a dive and they do, and then you shoot them on the way down. So don't worry about that too much. Sound seems to be really good. Seems to be 3D. I could kind of tell when people are above and below me, and I think I could tell the difference between enemy and friend footsteps, I think. The gunplay felt good. It was kind of cross between Black Ops and Modern Warfare. Black Ops Cold War on Modern Warfare 3. So I find in Modern Warfare 3 the guns are a bit jumpy. There seemed to be lots of recoil, whereas in Black Ops Cold War you could set up your guns so they were almost like laser beams. And so it doesn't feel as precise as that. The maps as well, we only had 4 to play on. Or I only played on 4. They didn't feel like the typical 3-lane Treyarch maps. None of them jumped out at me going, oh, this is amazing. Like, if I think about the Cold War beta, there was Satellite, wasn't there? And I thought, oh, that's really good. I really enjoyed that map. But there was nothing that really jumped out. They seemed okay. I would have liked to see dirtier maps with more rubble. They were a little bit too urban, a little bit too clean. And as far as things like the flags go for domination and for capturing hardpoints, hardpoints seem pretty good. I had some good games for hardpoint. Domination, there was a map called Skyline, which was like a posh hotel thing, I think it was. And B was particularly exposed. In fact, lots of them were really exposed. So if you were on the flag, you needed really to pop a smoke and have a trophy. Because if you were just sitting there, you were just going to get shot. There's nothing you could do about that. So that's a bit disappointing. The most important thing for me, though, the most important question with any Call of Duty, well, any sort of multiplayer shooter at all, is can you play tactically? So if you know a bit about Call of Duty, so you can look at the minimap where your team is, and you go, right, okay, so if my team is there, that means the enemies must be there. And also, when you spawn in, you go, right, I've spawned in here, so that must mean that there's enemies over there. And you know a bit about the map. and you know a bit about the mode that you're playing, you know, the game mode, how it works, and you know a little bit about your weapons, so which weapons are best at different ranges, so you know when to engage people. If you know those things, does that give you an advantage in gunfights because you can set yourself up better? Or is the game built in such a way that speed and reaction time is more important? And I'm pleased to say that most of the time, if I felt I was in a situation where my tactical awareness kicked in, I did win those gunfights and I was able to go on nice little streaks, which was good. Of course, there were 50-50 gunfights where I just, you know, lost the kids. But when you're an older player, I don't have the reaction time, so I have to rely on tactical play to give myself some sort of advantage over the other people. And it seemed to be like that. However, movement is very, very fast in all these modern Call of Duties. You know, the ones we've had for the last few years. And so the game mode can break down very quickly if people aren't kind of playing by the rules. You know, if you're playing domination and the other team isn't trying to capture B, you know, they keep running round to the back of the map to capture your home flag, or they're not even trying to capture it, they're just trying to kill people. They can move around so fast that in between you looking at the mini-map and thinking, right, okay, that's where the enemy should be, and then looking back at the screen, they've already got behind you. So it is difficult. Should you buy and play? I mean, I think if you're a big Call of Duty fan, what I've seen in the beta, I think this is a solid Call of Duty. Will it be a great Call of Duty? I don't really know. I haven't seen enough of the maps. We need to take in something like the campaign. I know for lots of people out there as well, zombies is very, very important. But from what I've seen, it does seem to be solid. There's nothing that's jumped out at me and gone, ooh, this isn't very good. You know, like in Vanguard, where we had these strange number of players on different maps, where we had Call of Duty World War II, where we had this really sort of fast time to kill in these really small maps. There hasn't been anything like that, so it seems solid. The mechanics seem solid enough. So I think if you're a big Call of Duty fan, and Call of Duty, when it's good, you play it all year, then yeah, this is going to be great. Would I buy it? And I'm going to say this. If it wasn't on Game Pass, I probably wouldn't have bought it this year. But it is on Game Pass, which I'd pay for anyway, which means that I'm going to get it free, in inverted commas, on my Xbox and my PC. So I'm definitely going to be playing it. And that means I'll definitely be making some videos about it, because Call of Duty videos generally do okay on my channel as well, and I enjoy making them as well. I know there's lots of people out there who really like Call of Duty, who are casual players, who are maybe returning to it, and will want those multiplayer guides, especially people who subscribe to Game Pass, who don't have to pay that sort of 70 quid this year as well. Overall, I think it's kind of a cross between Call of Duty Black Ops and Modern Warfare 3. And I think if they tightened up the gunplay a little bit and just turned the dial towards Black Ops Cold War a little bit, I think we could have something really cool indeed. But we're going to have to wait and see for the full release. But that's the beauty of these betas, isn't it? You can check it out for yourself, see what you think, and go for it that way. So as far as I'm concerned, seems like a good solid COD. I will be playing it because it's on Game Pass. And yeah, let's see what the full release brings. But what do you think? Put your questions and comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.